Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm your boy, Retro Bliss, and you are on the Retro Bliss Rewind podcast. Welcome to the show. If you guys are watching from over at Mike's Gaming Gala, we welcome you. Also, it's being simulcast over on his channel. So we're going to talk about Christmas and the holidays, and it's kind of going to be, I don't want to say all over the place, but it's going to be like a general discussion, and there are going to be some specifics, but we're just going to have some fun with it. So without further delay, let's bring Mike on for Mike's Gaming Gala, Brian from BD Retro Mods, and the one and only Mr. Post Style. What's going on, guys? How are you guys doing today? I'm kind of anxious to do this one. We've had some big name guests, it seems like, during the month of December. This is our first podcast for the new year, and
we got a big name guest today.
That's what I'm saying. We're used to having that, and so we're just carrying on into the new year. So very excited, very excited to talk about this. Christmas, man. I mean, I think I'm just going to start about my first.
Before we start getting into stories and gifts and all that, can I first just say to everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays if you don't celebrate either of those, from all of us to all of you, and a shout out to Casey the Intellivision Gamer. Yep. If you're a fan of his, you know he did not have a stream this week. He had emergency gallbladder surgery over the weekend. So we are wishing him speedy recovery and best wishes to him.
I think he said that thing was so big that they had to
size of
use
a ping
a larger
pong ball.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a heck of a gallstone. I was telling these guys in the green room that my oldest son had his gallbladder removed at 6, which was crazy. I thought it was crazy. Although it is hilarious to see a 6-year-old on like morphine, like high on drugs. It's just like, but yeah, a ping pong ball size, like your gallbladder is the size of a ping pong ball. That thing
was full. What's he eating in California? What kind of health food is they make him eat out there?
Right?
Anyway,
that's just what I wanted to say before we start getting into all of the fun stuff that we did and got.
Thank you for stopping me, because I was going to do that and it slipped my mind. I was so excited to do this.
Okay, so now
we talked about it in the green room, we did. So.
You can start us off.
All right. I am the oldest of the group. I will be 60 this year.
By a long shot, yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm going to kick him off like I normally do. Back in 1977, Atari they had commercials going left and right about this new console that was coming out that year, the Atari 2600. And man, the more I saw those commercials, the more I really wanted one. And I was 12. And the year came out in 1977. I begged and begged. My brothers did too. Begged and begged my parents to get us an Atari 2600. Well, I've told the story a couple times on the channel, so those of you who may remember it. But thanks. I see the ticker now. Okay.
I was waiting for you to see.
Okay. Yeah, these guys weren't even born yet. So, well, actually, Poe was.
Poe
was. But anyway, I really wanted one, and my parents, my dad was a blue collar guy. He was a pattern maker at Cincinnati Millicron, and he didn't make a lot of money. He wasn't a big money maker. We always had a roof over our head and food on the table and that kind of thing. But, the console was $199. Well, back then that's like spending $900 today. That's a lot of money for anybody. Yeah. But they had a Sears credit card. That was a thing. Catalogs, we had catalogs back then.
So Phil, you didn't get an Atari. You got a Telegames.
That's right. I got a Telegames, which at first I was not happy about for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm thinking this is a cheap knockoff. It's not an Atari product, but it is. It's just, Sears. I actually think they helped fund the production if Atari allowed them to put their name on it and have their own thing. Well, anyway, so I was upset for that reason, kind of, sort of. And then I was also upset because the console came with a game called Air Sea Battle and not Combat. Most 2600 came with Combat, but I got Air Sea Battle. And I can remember not having Combat and then thinking I got gypped because I wanted the original thing. But now that I look back on it, Air Sea Battle was a much better game in my opinion than Combat.
It
Combat's a great game.
It depends on who you're playing with. Combat entirely depends on your opponent.
Mm-hmm. Well, but I was 3 years older than my little brother. So
so for you, definitely Air Sea Battle would have been better.
Yeah. So, but the sounds of it. I mean, I can remember. It's not just the gameplay. And I've got this controller in my hand. I could actually play a video game in my house. I'd went to play in arcades and that kind of thing, but I'd never did anything like this at home. It was unheard of. It was kind of unheard of. I think Pong was out prior, but we really didn't have that. So, but the sounds of Air Sea Battle, to me, I play that game today, and it just brings back those memories of back then. So that was my very first memory of Christmas. So
video
games,
not necessarily Christmas related, but video game related. Ingrained in my head is the combat that. So those sounds are ingrained in my head because I don't really remember playing Air Sea Battle.
Yeah,
I have it now. I play it. I've played it now, but Combat's where my nostalgia. Combat. Space Invaders, Moon Patrol, and Dig Dug, and Berserk would be probably my five most nostalgic. There were others certainly, but most nostalgic 2600 games.
Yeah, but was that your first memory of Christmas and video games though? Well, like
no. So we only had the 2600, and my first real Christmas memory of, oh my goodness, I got this big video game thing was actually in Christmas of '89 when at the time there was only 3 of us. I have 5 younger brothers. At the time there was only 2 younger brothers. And my grandparents got us the NES, not the power set, the one with the power pad. So it had the 3-in-1 cartridge that had Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and World Class Track Meet. And that's the first one that I remember. It's probably not my first video game related Christmas thing, but it's the first one I really remember because all my friends had NESs for years. And we were not wealthy by any stretch, but my grandparents got us that, and it was absolutely incredible. I was hooked on the NES after that. We still played the Atari sometimes, but the Atari definitely went to the side shelf once we got our NES.
Yeah, well, I got to address that. Chris Walker is not
this one
in
right
agreement.
Here?
Yeah, he's not in agreement. I will say this.
We can still all be friends.
I loved it when I did. I ended up buying it anyway, but when I got it and I started playing with my brother, how you could guide the missiles into your opponent. I just was really good at it, and his dexterity.
Yeah.
I got to the point. My brother got to the point where he didn't want to ever play video games with me ever again because I would always just take advantage of his youth and not being able to, I guess, play.
The hand-eye coordination.
Yeah, it just wasn't quite there yet. But yeah. So
I want to acknowledge this, Mr. Baseman. If you only ever had an Intellivision, why the hell do you don't have an Intellivision now? Get that Intellivision. He keeps commenting on my videos. I need to get an Intellivision. Get an Intellivision.
Yeah, I've found those on Marketplace. I find those on Marketplace all the time. I do.
I see them every once in a while. That the problem is, and quite often you'll find the Intellivision 2. Those are more likely to be working, but they're also more likely for whatever reason to not have a power supply. I mean, the original Intellivision has a built-in power supply. It just has a cable coming out. But I see tons of Intellivision 2s without the power supply.
So Brian, tell us a little bit about your memories as it relates your nostalgia and Christmas, how that all pans out for you.
I think when it comes to Christmas, because like when it came to because again in my household it was the Intellivision 2, and then eventually like my aunt had the Atari 2600, so played that there. But then I guess my first console was the NES, kind of like with Mike, and that one was a birthday present back in I think 88, 89, or I think 88, whenever the action set pack came out with Duck Hunt and Mario with the Zapper and stuff. So but I guess when it comes to Christmas though, I guess a good memory was I was really wanting the Nintendo Game Boy. So that got announced, and in 1989 that was a big thing, because I was just like, oh my god, coming from Tiger handhelds, because that's all we had at that point, was here's this Game Boy that looks very close to an NES, in the sense of graphics and stuff and gameplay. And it's like, oh, I gotta have this. And I don't know about you guys, but at that point still there was literally only one TV in our house. So like even though I had the NES, there was like only like a couple hour period per day that I would play it, because otherwise it's like, okay, cut off, you're done. It's whatever we were watching at the time. So but I was like really wanted it, really wanted it. And when it on my parents' side, it's like, nah, you don't need one or whatever. And well, lo and behold, I didn't get the Game Boy from them, but in a surprise move from my one grandma, there was a Game Boy. And even my parents didn't.
This is why we love grandparents,
right?
They're the ones that get us the really good stuff,
right?
Or a sweater. Like there's no in between. It's one or the other.
Oh yeah, but
a bunny onesie.
So they knew how bad I really wanted that Game Boy, and they went off, and I don't know if it was without my parents' wishes, but ultimately they got it, because looking at my parents' faces when I got it was like they had no idea that was coming. So but then my one uncle got me Super Mario Land with it, and so yeah, I had Tetris and Super Mario Land there for a while, and then
good combo.
And then Grandma had always made it a point whenever I'd go visit, hey, let's go get a Game Boy game. I'm like, okay. I mean, why not? And again, what was so cool about that, obviously, and I know probably very similar feelings, is just it was really the first portable game console, like a true one, because like I don't count the Tiger handhelds as that. And,
Microvision, come on, man.
Yeah.
As long as you had a backpack for those big cartridges, it was a portable game system.
Yeah.
Those handhelds had one pitch. That's it. You if you didn't like that game, you're done.
Oh, no. The Microvision had interchangeable cartridges, but the cartridges came with the screen and custom buttons. So they were probably about like 6 inches tall and 3 inches wide, but they clipped onto the front of your
handheld.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a
and like I said, had that. I mean,
and it is a handheld, but it's a one game handheld.
Yeah.
Right.
So the first true mobile interchangeable game, although they were very simple games, would be the Microvision. So the Microvision predates the Game Boy by a lot.
Yeah, but
the Game Boy, I mean, you're not wrong to say that Game Boy is the first one that did it right.
Right, and again, I spent so many hours on that thing because I could play it whenever I wanted. I didn't have to wait till my open period of time on the television, and they were technically cheaper games, so it was more, availability of being able to get them, because you could usually get a Game Boy game for $20 at that point compared to spending $50-$60 on an NES game. So, but I'd say that was probably one of my, ones that I remember, one of my first ones that I really remember for Christmas when it comes to video games.
So how about you, Poe? Tell us about, I know you have a number of Christmas memories, and that's what we're here to talk about, man. I would just Unload. Tell us about it.
Well, as far as games go, you talk about handhelds. It was actually for my oldest brother when he got the Mattel Football 2, the green one. And that sound never goes out of your head whenever you're kicking off, you know, and you get a touchdown. And so that was awesome. He had that, and they got my sister the white one that same year. I don't know why they got her one, because I don't think she really cared. But yeah, we all wanted to take turns with that thing. But really, it was Christmas 1982 is when we got our Atari. And that was the 4-switch Woody. And they went all out with that one because it came with combat. There was some kind of special deal where Pac-Man 2600 was there too. And they got my oldest brother Pitfall. So that is a game, you know, that sound, the Tarzan yell, that was always in your head, even after you went to bed at night. You know, you had that going on. And my other brother got Defender that year, and they got me Stampede. So that was the first video game that I ever owned, was Stampede. And then they got Haunted House, was the family game. And I think it's just because my dad loves Halloween and taking us to haunted houses, so that's why we ended up with Haunted House. And they didn't get any games for my sister at that point. She was older. I think she was getting all the makeup and the stuff none of us cared about at that point, you know. But
and it was 80s makeup, so
yeah,
she had the hair, I bet too.
Right. She got made up for church. She looked like Dee Snider, Twisted Sister. And
I was going to say Tammy Faye Baker, but go ahead.
oh dear.
I don't remember campaigning for the Atari that year. We all knew people that had them for years, you know. And I think my two brothers were the ones that were up to it, because in the picture, my mom would take pictures, but she wasn't good about getting those pictures developed. Back then, you sent them away to York Film or wherever, and then waited for your pictures to come back. When we had the Polaroid camera, then she was taking pictures every Christmas. But the picture that we have from that Christmas are my two brothers with the Atari box, and I'm not in it. I'm sure I was playing with something else over in the corner of the room and didn't even realize they opened the family gift there. But once it was hooked up and I saw them playing, that was it. It was on, you know, forever after that. So, yeah,
was
that
like
was
Donkey Dong.
We didn't have Donkey Dong, so I borrowed it from a friend. And Donkey Dong. But now it was even more special, I think, in '86, Christmas of '86, because I got a Nintendo, and that was for me. I begged for that thing all through the fall. And I didn't even know what a Nintendo and NES was up until that point. I had no idea they rolled them out, you know, with special markets the year before or anything like that. My parents took me to Kmart, and they were doing some shopping. So I walked back to the electronics department, and I see the box for Kung Fu, of all things, sitting there. Mm-hmm. And they showed the actual graphics on the box. And I'm like, that doesn't look like Atari. You know, the Atari was kind of like not used as much at that point in our house anymore. But I saw that. Then I saw the Nintendo sitting there, and I'm like, this is what I want. So I go home and I get out the Sears Christmas catalog, or, you know, the Penny's book, and I'm circling it, and I want Kung Fu with this. And I'm asking my mom, and she's like, as a gift for just one of you? She said, that's pretty expensive. I don't think it's going to happen. So a little depressed about that. But we were sneaks. My brothers taught me how to search for presents the time I was just a little fella. So at that point, my mom had a job too. My mom and dad were gone working, and I came home and I looked in their room and I saw that Nintendo in there, probably November of that year. And they had it sitting there with like a quilt over it.
Yeah, like that's going to stop you from looking.
Right. And every day after school, I'm in there just studying the box, you know, and then here's somebody come down the driveway, put it back.
Yeah.
The key was to never let on that you knew where they hid stuff.
Right. Hold your thought for a minute. I did got to tell you, when I got my 2600 plus, I saw the box on the tree. I knew exactly what it was, but I waited till nobody was looking or no one was home or something. And I took the Christmas paper and I just gently opened it, but anyway, go ahead.
I have a similar story to that, and I was definitely going to get to it. It wasn't
Oh,
game
sorry.
related. It
Oh.
wasn't game related, but Voltron. I used to watch Voltron.
Oh,
My
yeah.
best friend watched it, and I loved the lions and everything. So in the catalog that year, they had all the lions that formed into Voltron. It was the plastic lions, though, but the action figures fit inside. They each came with action figures. And so I wanted that. I asked for that. And my mom tricked us that year. She already wrapped stuff up. So I went in and I found the big bag of presents, and I actually peeled back, thinking, this is going to be perfect. They'll never know. It looked like garbage. But I'm looking at these lions and everything, and I'm like, wow, yeah. And then I'd go back to the Christmas book and look at them in there, and so my oldest brother knew that I did this, and every night after dinner we took turns. One night, my oldest brother and my other brother, one would wash dishes, the other would dry dishes. The next night it would be me and my sister. I was supposed to go see Hulk Hogan wrestle Jesse the Body Ventura at the Pittsburgh Civic Arena. My buddy got us tickets, and they were just going to take me, and we were huge into WWF at that time. So my oldest brother knew that I looked at my presents, and it was his night to wash dishes. And he says, "Hey, Pat, if you don't do the dishes for me tonight, I'm telling them that you opened your presents and looked at them." And I'm just like, I'm like, no, I'm not washing the dishes for you, and they'll never know. I was perfect with this. It was like, a spy film, the way I got in there.
Yep.
So, sure enough, he was true to his word, the rat.
Oh,
he goes
man,
up there and he
dirty
says,
dog.
he looked at his presents. They went and looked, and wow, my dad was so fired up. He said, "You get on that phone right now and you tell your buddy you're not going to wrestling with him, and you tell him what you did." That was the biggest, most embarrassing part of that whole thing.
Oh,
They had to
no.
go,
Did you tell your brother that snitches get stitches?
oh, yeah. Right?
They do
Of course,
now. They might
He's
not have
40
been, but they do now.
4 years older than me, so that wouldn't have turned out well for me either. So
I'd be bitter about that to this day.
unless you got a pellet gun for Christmas.
oh, yeah.
Just shoot your
That'll-
eye out.
Well, that's one thing though to keep in mind, as we talk about these stories with these games, though, is the fact that surprisingly, out of so many things out there, video gaming in general has kind of become recession proof, or not recession. I'm sorry, inflation proof. And because when you think about like these stories, like, oh, this is too expensive for a single gift. It has to be a family gift, or because these things were freaking expensive. Like if you look at how inflation's gone, like the current, like Phil said, $800-900 for 2600 at the time, and I think even an NES, like to today's standards, would be like a $600-700 item, and it's just, and when you think about games, NES games were $50, and I think Atari games were what, 40, whenever they were in their peak.
Yeah. I had to save up, mow lawns. That's
we
why I'm
all
bitter
know
about Pac-Man.
how much money that Todd Fry owes you. All right.
Yeah, I want him on the channel.
But I guess that's
I want him on the channel. We got to talk about this, Todd.
Where, I mean, when you look at what games cost today to what they cost back then, I mean, there's a reason why we can all buy more games now, other than disposable income per se, but it's because they technically are cheaper than what they were back when we were kids, and we could only maybe get 2 or 3 a year if we were lucky. Other than that,
and because we're less mature and less responsible than our parents were.
There you go.
Well, even with a video game console, the way things were back then, mom and dad would say, "Go out and play. Don't come back in until the street lights come on." So that's just the way it used to be back then. And so I would play, but I didn't. I would play more like on the weekends and stuff. Wasn't really able to.
If it was a rainy day, you got to play.
Something
after
like
dark,
that.
you got to play.
Yeah.
Or and in the morning, if you got up early enough, if you wanted to do that instead of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. Of course, by the time that I wasn't as interested in some of the cartoons that were being played as I was when I was younger, because by that time I was 12, 13 years old, right? So.
Well, yeah, you're old. So.
Exactly.
Why don't we move on to kind of this holiday season? What we got, what we did. Anybody get something really cool that they want to start us with?
I got a number of things, and I almost don't want to share it all because I know that some of you guys didn't get quite.
Yeah,
quite as much as I did.
Skinny Christmas for Mike's Gaming Gala, but it was still a good one.
That's all right. I'm going to bring something to the stage that you guys can all see. I got this thanks to Mr. Postile. This is my Mr. He didn't buy it for me, but if it wasn't for him, I would have never have gotten it.
Dude.
Yes.
Nice.
An iArcade, man. And I bought what was the module that I bought? I've ordered more, but what was that little module I put on there so I could add games?
Oh,
what was it called?
The mystery encoder board.
Yeah, I bought a mystery encoder board. It's fairly easy to add games to this with that, but I've ordered a new control deck and the Viper board. So I think when those come in, it's going to even be better. I actually was able. I pulled one of my arcade cabinets out of the Bliss Cave to make room for it. I'm going to sell it because I don't need it anymore. The games are on this thing, right? So,
everything you need.
These are good problems to have, Phil.
Yeah, they're really good problems. So anyway,
That board itself is also it's a USB enabler, so it has USBs on there. You could get sending light guns for the thing.
Yes,
but you'll have to connect inside the cabinet where the chip is.
Or you could put a USB hub and mount it like underneath or something.
Yeah. But once you get Glenn's board itself, his ultimate control panel, there's USB ports right on the front. So I plug my sending gun right in there.
There you go. That's what to do. I'm very anxious.
How many weeks did you have to sleep on the couch for that one?
Well, the story goes, I was looking. I've been looking.
Story
for these
goes. Okay.
Yeah. I have. Since I found out about these through Mr. Postal, I've been looking on Facebook Marketplace on my phone like all the time while I'm sitting there watching TV with the wife or whatever. And when I find them, I find like one in Detroit for like $800 or something, right? They're not cheap in some of these places. And I pulled it up. A guy just like about 35 miles away from me on the other side of the river, northern Kentucky, had one for $300. And I ended up getting the thing for $275. I would have paid the $300, but I couldn't tell exactly the condition because the guy had it in his basement. And there was hardly any lighting down there. But when I got the
well, your pick looks in really good shape.
Yeah, that's what it looked like when I brought it home. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, but anyway,
I like Mr. Baseman's suggestion here. You should have at least tried to camouflage it with a houseplant or something.
Yeah, there are houseplants around it, but there aren't many that big. But I was thumbing through when I saw it for $300. I audibly said something like, "Oh man," like that. I can't. It just kind of came out. And Rhonda said, "What?" And I said, "Nah." And she goes, "What?" And I said, "Man, there's a IRK for $300." She goes, $300? That's a lot of money. And then I told her how much they were going
if you
for.
Only knew.
Yeah, if you only knew. And we had just gotten our money for Christmas. We put money into actually she does. I'm retired now. I don't anymore. But she puts money into a Christmas account, and then we get it around October or whatever. And we had just gotten that. And she says, "Well, if you want it, Merry Christmas until 2036." So I said, "Are you serious?" I went over there and picked it up. So that was nice. That was the big thing. But I got a few small things, but I want to let you guys share some things too.
Phil, I never want to hear you complain that you're on a retirement income again because you've got a wonderful, wonderful wife, and you make sure that she knows that every day.
You guys don't. You guys may know about some. She also bought me a brand new bass guitar.
I saw that,
dude. I'm not even gonna tell you how much that thing costs, but I haven't bought one since the 90s. 5-string. I haven't bought a 5-string bass since the 90s, and Mr. Bassman knows how much my bass costs. It's a lot of money, but yeah. So she says, if you can get it for 4 years, same as cash, on the plan that they had, and it's under $100 a month. Go ahead. I'm like, because she does the bills. I'm like, okay. And so it's like $58 a month for 4 years, no interest. I'm like, okay. So anyway, that's not video game related. Yeah, I want to hear about you guys some now. I've got some more stuff I got, but I want to hear a little bit about.
Yeah, we
it.
can go around the horn, do one each until we're out. I'll start with something that my kids got me. My kids will usually get me a game. Of the modern consoles, I still like the Switch. That is my preferred. Like if something's on everything, which I mean, not a lot are, but if something's on everything, I'll get it on the Switch. I like the fact that it's portable, and also a lot of the games are multiplayer. I like to play those with my kids. And my kids got me Mario Party Jamboree.
Nice.
Now, I like the Mario Party games. Believe it or not, my favorite Mario Party game is, I think it's Mario Party 7. It's the one on the Wii U where one person can be Bowser and they're against everybody else. I actually think that's the best Mario Party game. Because usually the boards, it's like there's just so much luck involved, right? But I love the mini games. I hate the boards. I love the mini games. So we just go to the mini game bay and we play mini games until we're done playing, and that's a lot of fun. So that's what we do. We do with this, and I'm looking forward to exploring and unlocking some more stuff with the kids. So that's what I got from my guys.
That's on my Christmas list is a Switch. That's one thing I don't have yet. So
I do like that. It's long in the tooth. The Switch 2 should be coming out.
I was going to say at this point, don't buy a Switch because rumors have it that we could very well get the Switch 2 announcement here.
Although it has a massive library, and if you find one on Craigslist for super cheap, somebody dropping it because they're going to move up to a Switch 2, I'd say it's still worth it.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it'll be backward compatible, the Switch 2?
I think they got to make it
probably.
I think they got to make it backward compatible. I think they'll have a mutiny on their hands if it's not. So,
yeah.
That's a very good game, and I got it when it came out, and so did my son, so that we could play online because we always played Mario Party together.
Online.
Yep, and my daughter just got it for Christmas too. So when she's up at college, the three of us we still try to play on Saturday nights. But you know how that game goes is the shortest game is an hour and 30 minutes. So
if you're playing a full board. Right. I don't know if online you can just go and play the mini games, but
yeah, we haven't tried that. But my boy,
if you do, then like each game is like a minute, and you just keep playing and playing and playing because that's the fun part about Mario Party.
Yeah, we have a great time with it. But like I said, 3 hour time difference, so he'll be sending me a message Saturday night at midnight. Hey, Dad, let's get ready to play. And then next thing you know, it's like 3 a.m, and I'm just like, I've been up since 3 a.m. yesterday for work,
Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. Did you just do it, Poe?
Brian? I just did one, and now I think Brian, and then Poe, and then back to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. It's Brian.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'll do two things. Because one, I don't have an actual picture for it, but I think the main thing, I guess, with my stuff is like, I didn't really get quote unquote stuff for Christmas. A lot of the time, what we do is just look at the Black Friday deals, and then we have them.
And that's one thing we talked about. Like, if it's in December, we kind of count it.
But one of the things, because prices have finally gotten reasonable, broke down. Finally, did a gaming PC, and
nice.
Because I did, I did gaming on PC back in like I don't know, early 2010-ish and stuff, and then I kind of fell out of the loop from it and stuck with consoles, but it had a really good deal for the specs, and it's like, well, because as we all know, during COVID, all that stuff went through the roof.
And graphic cards especially.
Right. So got a really good Black Friday deal on one. It's been great, and and it really makes me contemplate moving forward. Now Nintendo's an exception to the rule, but like I don't know that I even care about the next Xbox or the next PlayStation, because as we've had in conversations, I mean,
they're just proprietary computers.
They're proprietary computers, and I've come to find that playing the same game that I would play on my PlayStation on this gaming PC it looks a lot better and it runs a lot better. And I can actually sync up an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller to my computer and just play it. So, and then with Steam, a lot of that stuff they got for cheaper, because they run so many deals all the time that it just, I really come to a point now that I just really question with modern gaming, what's the point of even buying a console moving forward, except for Nintendo, because obviously they're not going to put their stuff on a PC. But like for PlayStation, all their first party games are available to buy on Steam. So like, why do I need a PlayStation 5 anymore if I can just buy it on Steam? And then Microsoft.
The one thing I will say that I appreciate, at least the modern PlayStation consoles, like I don't have it because it is still very expensive, but I don't have it for PS5, but I do like the PSVR on my PS4. And at least from my understanding, if you're wanting to play higher level VR games, it is a comparatively budget option to do so. So there's still that, but yeah, I can't get into my PS5 or my Xbox Series X. Well, like neither of them inspire me at all.
Right, because you might buy the physical copy, but they're not really physical. Because
9 times out of 10, when I have it on, I'm playing PSVR 2, and that's about it.
Yeah,
but those PSVR 2s, there's an adapter to connect those to your PC now, so you could do the same thing.
Yeah.
Play
VR. I guess
games.
the minute I saw that you could literally sync up, I knew you could do it with an Xbox, but like I was even more shocked that you can sync a PlayStation controller up and use it if you wanted to, and it's just like. I mean, at that point, I'm like, why do I have these consoles? Especially when they're not truly physical games anymore. I mean, at the end.
Although I was very surprised that there was no download for this when I installed it.
Yeah,
there was like a 10 meg update, but the game is actually on this, which was incredible.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but if you talk about the Xbox, I have a Xbox Series X, and I probably have 70, 80 games on there, right? Well, there's no way you can play them all. You have to uninstall and reinstall every time because there's not enough hard drive space to do it unless you have a external or something. And even then, it's got to be quite large. It's just and you're not you just put the thing in and you're waiting for it to update and it's like I'm just done.
I said, it's just a different approach I think moving forward. Like I said,
and especially with how often that I play like my PS5, for instance, every time I turn it on, I have to wait 20 minutes for it to.
Oh, right.
It's and they and that's one thing. If we can just kind of sidestep we have this nostalgia of I got an Atari or an NES for Christmas and you plugged it in and you played it all night. My kids have memories of I got this new PlayStation game or Xbox game and we plugged it in and I had to go play something else for 2 hours because it had to download the game and then install the update and then reset the console. And it's just like, come on.
Yeah. So
I tried my best with my kids to do that Christmas Eve or the day before with their games. Put it in there.
You don't get to open it properly with the saran wrap, right?
Right. Yeah, you have to have your own shrink wrapper, right?
And if you need all that anyways, what's the point? You know what I mean? So that's just kind of where I think I am moving forward. And maybe next Christmas time it might be a Steam Deck or something equivalent. So then I can take that stuff on the go. It just I really like. I mean, I don't know why I waited so long to get into Steam, but Steam's cool. Like I love Steam. I mean, the way they got that set up, it's a much easier, friendlier experience now to do gaming on a PC because of stuff like Steam.
I need to do that. G. Parker and Derek got me that ROG for my birthday. And it's been so long since I really messed with any computer things. It's still sitting there. I did a little bit of Xbox Live for the free month of it on there.
Yeah.
But I really need to mess with that thing. It's really cool.
Remy's got a good point. Whenever you were loading computer games in the 80s, you had to wait at least a few minutes.
You did. not anything like you got to do now. But then the other thing I'll just show quick is just my son got it. found it on Etsy. It's literally a 3D printed
Oh, nice.
Pac-Man ghost that is a headphone holder, so you can put your gaming headset on top of it.
Looks
hold
like a
the headphones
mailbox.
in. So yeah,
Well, that's cool. Oh, and the power pellet must have been eaten. He's purple.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So, Poe, tell us about some of your nostalgia or what you got.
Well, my daughter was the one that got me the only things game related that I got for Christmas this year, and it was actually a surprise. Now, Mike and I talked about this before. They're not really my thing so much, but
Yeah, me
the
neither.
the My Arcade Mini. She saw them and thought, "Dad will like this. It's video games, you know." So I did get the Miss
Yeah.
Pac-Man,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I got the Contra, which she bought my son the Contra too, and she gave it to him when we were out there as an early Christmas gift. And then she bought me this one, which this one has a connecting cable. So if my son brings his home, we could connect it and play Contra together on a tiny
That's
screen,
cool.
or we can just play it on my iArcade downstairs because I already have
Yeah.
Contra on there.
right, which is much more enjoyable.
Those do
But
they do look good on the shelf though, and they
look great
I
in-
mean, I've got big hands, so that's a bit of a pain, but they do play. They play.
Yeah, my son has a few in his room, so I think they're going to end up going in there for safekeeping and just set them up with his other ones as Galaga and everything up there. And he has Pac-Man, I think, in there. But
Yeah, I've
I
got
tried it
Pac-Man
out.
and Space Invaders, I think, are the two that I have.
And I do have some of the new wave, two of the new wave, just because I love Dragon's Lair. So when that one came out, I bought it, you know. And then Ghosts and Goblins was the other one I had to buy just for the theme. But I don't really, when I first got those, I played them a bit, and now they're just for display too. So expensive display items.
Are they all the same kind of scale?
Those ones are 12-inch. I don't have one out here. So
Okay,
they're
because I was
bigger.
going to say you could make yourself like a display as if it was like a mini arcade.
I
Get
love
like a-
looking at those. If you
Yeah.
follow the New Wave Toy fans on Facebook, everybody's showing their diorama. So they're buying the scale action figures. Marty McFly is in all of them, you know.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
a dark looking. They have all their New Wave arcade cabinets, and they also make a charger that's a change machine. There's two different ones. A
Nice.
blue one and then one that's wood grain looking.
If you're going real retro 80s arcade, you need the cigarette machine too.
Yeah, they sell that cigarette machine, right? I almost got it just because. But and then the other thing they also sell on there is the little carpet that under the black light it really shines. You know, you got your 80s triangles and hot things.
Like the laser tape floor kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only thing game related. Now, the other thing that she got me, and I don't collect toys either, but she got me some Funko Pops, and she
You've
got
got a
me.
big collection of those now.
can't go wrong.
Yeah,
with
because I have the Mr. Poe style one that I bought when you could make your own. And then she
Yeah.
got me, or no, I got the old Poe. That's what it was. And then
Old
she
Poe,
bought,
yeah.
yeah, and she didn't even know I had that. So she bought me one that says Mr. Poe style. So it's the younger me on there. And then I bought the Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant WrestleMania 3 one because I just thought that was cool. But yeah, she went and got me Ash Williams from Army of Darkness. And this one I thought was pretty cool because it's Darth Vader, but it's from the comic
neat.
books, the early Star Wars comic books. So his coloring's different. It looks more like the comic book color, you know,
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
Darth
Yeah.
Vader.
That is
So I
is that
have-
is that a comic book behind it, or is that just a picture?
That's fake. It's showing one of the comic books from back in the day that they
Yeah,
based this
yeah.
on. But I do have a small stack of those Star Wars comics in a trunk down in my basement.
Okay.
Are you a
I've
collector?
got a couple of those too.
Are you a
Um,
comic book collector?
I used to be.
I'm
All
not.
those ones that I have down there are from when I was a kid. But I had some good ones in there. I had the Iceman limited 4 issue. Some of the Logan, whenever Logan first came out, I had the first so many of those. And whenever the Hobgoblin got unmasked and killed in Spider-Man because I love the Hobgoblin. So that one's still down there too.
When I come to the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo next year, I'll swing by the house and take them off your hands.
I've got a quick question for you guys.
Okay.
Sorry, I got a really quick question because Jeremiah has been dogging me about this ever since I released my Night Driver mini review. What is if you were to give Night Driver for the Atari 2600 a today score, not a nostalgia score, a today score, what would you give it out of 10? Just off the top of your head.
A today's score?
Yeah, like recommending, knowing that Enduro exists.
Right.
All right. Like if you're recommending games today, what score would you give it out of 10?
I'm going to say I would probably give it a 6 today.
Okay.
Just because I like that you use the paddle. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the paddle's great.
I wouldn't give it that much. It'd be maybe a 3.
Wow, a 3 for me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in that 5-6 range, and to Poe's point, it's just mainly because I really like paddle games, and
for me, so I love paddle games. I gave it a 4. I would have given it a 6 if the pylons on the side didn't give me a headache and make my eyes blur, because that's when I crash. Like I'm doing great, and then all of a sudden my eyes just blur and I crash. And then I'm able to focus my eyes again, and I play some more. And that's why I gave it a 4. And Jeremiah, he's very disappointed in me that I gave it a 4. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on
that. Was another. When I was a kid, I would have said 10 because I was obsessed with.
Nice.
Phil, you have now incurred the wrath of Jeremiah.
Oh no.
But I guess the question for Jeremiah is, what score do you think it should be, going off the same thing we just had to go off?
Great question. What would you rate it, Jeremiah? While we're waiting on that,
I think that's back to you then.
Okay. Well, I have a number of things, so I don't want to show you all of them, but I'm going to show you a few of them. I got this for the Christmas
so
tree.
Jeremiah says a 6 or a 7, which nice. I think is fair. If Night Driver didn't give me a headache, it would have gotten a 6.
If you asked me when I was a kid, it was a 10 because they had it on the Atari kiosk at Kmart. When they had the controls built into that panel, and to me it was cool like
back then.
To me, it was like I'm driving a car. It was Night Driver, and I'm like, I want this game.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian agrees with me.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Back to you, Phil.
Okay. So, my niece and nephew bought me 2 things. They got me this. This is an ornament for the Christmas tree.
Oh, nice.
And these are coasters. They're NES coasters. I'm going to take them out. Each coaster is a different
NES game.
NES
they
game.
have black box games. Or no, not all.
Yeah, I think the black box games.
No, because Zelda and Mario 2 are not black box games.
Okay. But
they're classic, like they're Nintendo franchises.
Yeah.
Kid Icarus, love it. I love those.
What's cool is like the back even looks like.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And that's the side that
unlike Mr. Poststyle's Xbox ornament, where they really cheaped out on the back of it.
Yeah, right. This year they went cheaper.
And then, what did I do? Of course, I put them on the bottom. Hold on a minute. I didn't want to show that.
Well, while he's digging, I will say though, and then we'll get off the Night Driver topic. One thing I appreciate, the one thing I do appreciate it with is, for being an Atari 2600, they did a good job porting it. When you think about what the arcade version looked like. And that's why I still feel like that 5-6 range, because I got to give them kudos for making something close to the arcade, which wasn't always.
And it controls great for what it is and for the era that it came out. Like I said, I think like gameplay wise, it's a 6. It's just those pylons are what dropped it for me, personally. And no, we're not. I'm not budging on that. Maybe give it one more point because it is legendary, but. OS, you be quiet. Don't start fights. I don't need to get any more slack than I'm already getting.
Okay, so
we're gonna go long on this one, by the way.
Yeah. I ordered some things some time ago, but they came almost like the week right before Christmas, so it was like Christmas for me, even though I had ordered them and was expecting them anyway. I joined the Collector Vision club,
Club.
and as such, you have access to the ROM vault right away. But they send you 3 games, and they were talking about we would get them around August, September, or whatever. No, I didn't get them till right before December. But I got Bubbles, Hard Hat, and Bounty Bob Strikes Back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I didn't think
They
those were
probably
too
did
bad.
not want you to put that one out on the web right now.
Right. Yeah, some of those are sworn to secrecy, aren't they? Maybe it was.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, you're not really supposed to publicly put those out, but it's all good.
Well, that was when it was open, right? It was like when I think it was when the
if you're part of a club and you get mailed a game, unless there's a specific thing in there with an NDA that you have to sign, he can show whatever he wants.
Well,
Thank
yeah,
you.
you can.
Okay.
And you can also put them on eBay for $900. People get real pissed about that.
But Intellivision Gamer says he also joins the clubs and you're not supposed to show.
Okay.
Oh, but he says it's okay now.
That Bubbles game.
You're not supposed to show it until everybody gets theirs.
I
How
put
do
that
you know if everybody's gotten them?
right. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I put the arcade version of that Bubbles game on my iArcade. I started watching the old episodes of Starcade. I don't know if you remember that show or not.
Starcade, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where I got some ideas for games I wanted to put on my iArcade, and Bubbles was one of them. It was a challenge one week, and they're playing it, and I'm like, I'm writing it down. Okay, I'm gonna put this on my iArcade. That's a fun game. I didn't know anything about that game growing up. So
You guys need to Google that and watch those episodes. They're pretty
Those are
sweet.
great.
Those are great to watch, man.
And one of the people, I think it was a producer, she worked on the show. She's the one that uploads them to Facebook, all the episodes.
First rule about Fight Club: don't talk about Fight Club.
Okay. I'm gonna
Jeremiah intimidates me even more now.
I'm gonna show a few more things. I'm gonna go to Mike because I think he's got some stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe a
and
thing or
I
two.
also want to talk about some of the stuff I did over the holidays too. So
Yeah. And,
we're gonna go late.
okay.
We're gonna go late.
Okay.
It's all right.
all right. Real Sports from Atari for the 2600. Mr. Run and Jump. I got M Network Collection.
Hey,
was a little
I got
disappointed.
that.
Yeah, for some reason I thought there were going to be more games on that.
No, I knew that
There's
it
only-
wasn't. Because remember, we had that talk. I'm like,
I don't
really,
remember
They're
it.
trying to really milk it for a.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get it. I have Frogs and Flies already, right?
I have all of them, but you know,
Yeah.
Honestly, the
just-
reason why I ended up picking that up is because I don't know about you guys, but the M Network cartridges are like hit and miss for working half the time.
Right.
So,
Yep.
so I mean, this was just like just quote unquote a more convenient way to know that I got a working game.
And they
because-
definitely could have put all of them on one,
Oh,
but they're not.
without
They're
a
gonna.
doubt.
Yeah, they're gonna milk the heck out of it. You're
I mean,
gonna
the
get a
fact that
volume
the, I
two.
mean, the fact that the 2600 plus came with a 10-in-1 cart, they could have definitely put them all on there. They're just
Yeah.
milking, they're just
Yeah,
milking
for
it
sure.
for a collection too.
Yeah. And then I got a green screen. I don't know if it's gonna look okay. Berserk. This is the voice enhanced. Now I have some more games I bought, but that came right the week before Christmas. But go ahead, Mike. It might take.
Oh,
a
I
minute to
wasn't.
show
No,
you.
I was just saying we'd go late. If you want to show more stuff, show more
Okay,
stuff.
I'll just show you the rest of what I got, and then I'll be
Yeah,
done
show
with
you
that.
the rest of your stuff. I'll show my stuff. Brian can show him, like, if he's got more.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Space Duel 7800. Frenzy 7800.
You got an entire library around
Bounty
Christmas,
Bob
man.
Strikes Back 7800. Food Fight 7800. Hold on a minute. Honey, could you bring the other bucket
truckload?
in here?
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, Berserk 7800. Ninja Golf 7800.
I'm shocked you didn't buy some of those previously, like especially the Mr. Run and Jump. I thought
I
you had them.
never ever want you to hear you complain about retirement income ever again. You got
Well,
like 40 games for Christmas.
Uh, Me and Bank of America own these right now. Okay, and Bentley
Yeah,
Bears,
Jeremiah called it.
Crystal Quest, Fatal Run, Asteroids Deluxe.
Mhm.
Now, the only other two things, I shouldn't say the only other thing, sounds a lot. I got this. I had ordered this some time ago. A
Beep,
super game,
beep.
super game module for my ColecoVision. This
If you're
is needed.
into opcode homebrews, that is a must-have.
Got this from Opcode Games. It's required for playing certain games, specifically some of the newer homebrews that are out. Speaking of which, I have ROMs that will utilize that. But when I got it, Eduardo was kind enough to send me this Time Pilot.
And me as well, of which I will absolutely be reviewing within the next month.
It's a great.
Yeah, I'm holding mine up right now too. You just can't see it.
That was my promise to Eduardo. And the funniest thing is, Eduardo said, "It's like, well, you know, I'm sold out of these now, but if you don't mind a damaged box, I can't see like
there's
maybe there's a tiny little wrinkle here." Thank you very much, Eduardo. I will absolutely be reviewing this one properly.
And those man, that packaging is top notch. I don't think there's anything better in the business.
And Jeremiah, yes, the super game module goes into the expansion slot.
Oh yes. Okay. So,
or you could use a Phoenix.
Phil, Pat. I did not receive my gift of a Collector Vision Phoenix from you this Christmas. I'm very disappointed.
You know what? Canadian Post was on strike. But I heard once our country buys yours, that the shipping will be.
Everybody gets a Phoenix?
Right.
You know what that means? We have seniority on y'all.
Yeah, but the youngest child is always the most loved.
Oh, yeah.
There is no way that we would ever want to be the 51st state.
Well, and I saw some of the higher ups, I guess you would say, on the news from Canada saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, well, we'll take California," and I'm like, "Hey, go ahead,
we don't
take my California, please."
No, we do not want California. Thank you. Most people I know up here, they would want they more associate with like where you guys are, like the Ohio, Michigan, like the Midwest kind of.
Well,
we make fun of California.
We've gone off the rails, guys. We've gone
off the rails.
From a Christmas show to a political show.
That's right. We're not a political show, even though the Prime Minister announced he's resigning.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes him. Okay. My Christmas gift from my wife. When I saw that Michael Thomason posted this, for $63, I said, "Honey, I know things are tight, but I know what you're getting me for Christmas." And normally I like the complete in box stuff, but for the price, and I had always wanted one, I got an Action Max.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
This thing, it came with 2 games. They're VHS games, so I got Sonic Fury and I got Hydro Sub 2021, but included was burned DVDs that you could plug a DVD player into this of all the Action Max games, so I could play everything.
Nice.
So that I'm looking forward to. I noticed there's a little bit of corrosion in the battery slot. It takes batteries.
Yes.
There's no power cable.
Yes.
So I'm going to open it up and clean it up a bit.
The little suction cup thingy on the sensor does like to fall off the CRT too.
I have a feeling it does. So you just kind of drape it over, and but I'm looking forward to giving it a try. I have not yet, but I'm looking forward to that.
It's actually kind of decent. I did some videos probably 3 years ago on the ones that I have, and I like the ghost game, even though it's cheese. It's really cheesy, but you go through the haunted house and the ghosts come out, and it's just kind of like puppets that they made transparent, parent of ghosts.
Yes, Saboteur vinegar and water solution. I usually just use straight vinegar on the metal parts. I've cleaned a lot of old electronics, and yeah, it takes care of it really, really well. Couple political comments. I won't bring those up. We're not a political show. In my stocking, also purchased by me, for me. I mean, Santa brought it. But Brian, BD Retro Mods, he actually posted in our chat that Stone Age Gamers had these, and I've been wanting one for years. So I finally picked up one, a USB adapter power supply for my ColecoVision. I have 3 ColecoVisions. They all have issues. And some of those issues come from power supplies. So it was, I'm looking forward to this hopefully alleviating some of the issues. And that just plugs into your power slot, and then you can plug a USB into it and just power from a good USB power brick. So I got that. And then I think the last, oh my goodness. Thank you, Casey. Happy New Year. Very kind of you. Definitely not required every time you watch our show that you give memberships, but we appreciate it.
It's those meds he's on. Dig them for more right now.
No. I'm not going to take care. Casey is a big friend to all of our channels, and I'm not going to take advantage of that. But I certainly,
I agree.
Say thank you when he does. And Saboteur did not get one this time. Saboteur got one last time from Casey. So this arrived. This is something I purchased, I think, in the spring. It was a Kickstarter. You'll notice it's Panzer III. I have the other 2 that he did Kickstarters for, Panzer and Panzer II. They are fantastic games for the NES. And the reason you haven't seen them on my channel yet, because I've had those for, I think, probably a year and a half, 2 years, is because that first one, which of course, if I'm going to be reviewing sequels, I have to do the first one first, is so difficult, has no continues. But my brothers were over. We passed the controller around. We beat Panzer. We beat Panzer II. I've got all my game footage for both those games, so those will be coming out at some point this year. And like 2 days after they were gone, Panzer III arrived. We could have beaten that one too.
Nice.
So I'm going to have to try to do this one on my own. They are very difficult games. And yes, Casey is playing Santa. And apparently I was feeling good because this came with a poster, has stickers, and it even has a little Lego of the main character, Panzer.
Oh, that's cool.
And it has a soundtrack CD. So, and these games do have good music. They're very well made. They're made with NES Maker. Not all NES Maker games are created equal. Some of them are really basic, and some of them are really good. This series has been one of the really good ones, so I'm looking forward to playing that. Which actually kind of leads into some of the stuff that I was... Actually, no. Before I talk about, what we actually did over the holidays... do either you 2 guys down there have any more gifts you wanted to show? Gaming-related gifts?
Yeah, I'll show. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily call them gifts per se, but they're things that came around the Christmas
Or
season.
stuff that you got.
Yeah, right. So the one, as we talked about a couple episodes ago, showed up, was very happy, is the Mod Retro, the
Nice.
Chromatic.
Nice.
So
I saw Mike the Gaming Road Warrior did a video on that.
Oh, did he? That's cool. And then I ended up getting the first set of games that they made for it. So this one, which is Tales of Monsterland, really like that one. This one's okay. It's not what I mean, it's a very basic puzzle game, but I enjoy Tetris more. This is a good puzzle game. I like this one. This one's been interesting. I haven't had much time to play it yet, but it's
Sorry,
got my attention.
could you read the names of the games to
Oh
us
yeah,
when
I'm
you?
sorry. So this is Tales of Monsterland DX.
Okay.
This is the Toki Tori Collection Ultimate Edition.
And you like that one?
Yeah, I like that one. Patchy Matchy. It's literally what I would almost call like a web-based, like your little puzzle web-based games from back in the day, like Candy Crush and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. It's okay, but it's probably my lowest of the ones. In the Dark 2, that's been an interesting one. Like I said, I haven't had much time to play it. Traumatarium. This is, again, for the style of game that it is, this is really good.
Now, is that a Traumatarium sequel?
It is, yes.
Okay, because I did a review on Traumatarium. I really liked it.
Yeah. If you're into those style, I mean, I'm really impressed with the graphics. Like,
it reminds me of those kind of like early computer games.
Yeah.
Like you would get them on the Mac Classic and stuff, where it's like a screen, you choose what to do, then it's another screen, you choose what to do.
And then Dragon Nim was the other one, which is like a role-playing game, old JRPG, which like I liked as well. So off the gate, I've been impressed. And what's good news for at least this company is apparently they've sold out of all the first editions. So I guess the only ones that are left is what GameStop might have for their unique version. So it'll be interesting to see what they make, because again, you've heard different things. Like, I mean, I've assumed they're going to make a regular edition beyond the first edition, but it may or may not include Tetris. I don't know, but at least the first edition runs are all sold out now, and I really like it a lot. Now, the only thing I will say, because I've been fighting with it here for about the last hour, because one of the other games that I got, because it was just, I missed out on the initial order, and then Castlemania, like I saw in an email I got, like, hey, we have a few of extras remaining, was the Rodland stuff from Retrobit. So I got the Game Boy version and the NES, and both very fun games because they weren't released here in North America. So this was the first time getting them in North America. But I will say this is, if you're playing Rodland on your Chromatic, don't, because it's stuck right now.
Oh, no.
So limited run games have fit fine. Regular Game Boy games have fit fine. The Mod Retro games have obviously fit fine, but the Retrobit, it is stuck. So
Need to sand
get
the
your pair of
edges down.
pliers and just pull.
So I'm gonna have to I gotta do something here to try to get this out, but it is stuck at the moment. So do not.
You gotta like face down and gingerly be pushing with the thumbs for like an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tinker with. As you can see, I've gotten it up some. It's out a little bit.
Oh, it's good you can get it up a little bit.
Yeah. So, but
I was being good. Y'all darn it.
At least you are. I can't believe that. Come on, Brian.
Yeah, drill holes in it. Yeah. So
do some hand workouts.
Yeah. And then what else here? So Mega Cat Studios had like a Black Friday deal thing going that I took advantage of. Which one was like a combo pack where you got to pick 3 games, and it came with, I think, a Retron 1, and it was like $70. So it was like, just for the price of the games, it was worth it. I didn't really get Retron 1 at all, but so within that little pack, I ended up getting Almost Hero, which is a fun one. It kind of is like a River City Ransom type style. And then I'll probably butcher this, Dushlan or Dushlan, I don't know, but it's just a different version of Tetris where it actually goes from the bottom up in a mode, and then they got a couple other shapes that aren't normally in regular Tetris, so that's been fun. But then throughout the Black Friday, they had other games that they like each day put on like for like 30% off. So I ended up picking Jester up, that's a fun game. I really like that. Graveyard Dude. because I believe the backstory behind this is I think the person who actually made this passed away, and they ended up making only so many copies available through MegaCat, like in physical form. But it's a neat puzzle game. I enjoy it. As you can tell, I like puzzle games when it comes to this stuff. But and then Flap Happy, which is like a platformer type game where you got to fly around the map to try to get from one end to the other and not get hit and stuff. So, which again, that's another fun one. Which then I also got the Game Boy version because again, I got my Chromatic and I plan on using it a lot. So, but I'd say that was probably my main stuff during the season. The other thing is I did order a number of games from Champ Games because he did his like 12% off sale.
That's Christmas any time of year right there.
I know, right? But yeah, so just kind of waiting on those yet. But yeah, I'd say that's what? Oh, I was reading the one. Yeah, we don't want to post that one up. But yeah, no. So yeah, that's what I have. That's stuff I really kind of got to show.
All right. So
Mr. Poe, I know you've got at least one more.
Yeah.
hesitant. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Well, and I have some other things, but Bliss already mentioned I did get my 7800 plus on Christmas Eve. It was a Christmas miracle because I pre-ordered this along with everybody else aside from Bliss, and the payment method I used was fine. But when I was out of town visiting my son, I got an email like Black Friday, something like that. And they're like, please confirm that you want to still use this payment method. And it said, you have to do it from a desktop. And I'm trying to cheat it and do it from my phone, and I couldn't. So I didn't get it when everybody else did. And so whenever they were getting ready to send them out, they were out of them from Amazon. They said I was going to get it like after Christmas or the New Year or whatever. But then it ended up coming Christmas Eve. And then some of the same games, I didn't get all of them, but I got Space Duel. I got Bounty Bob Strikes Back, and then the M Network collection, along with, I had Ninja Golf and Fatal Run since summer, whenever those ones finally came out.
Yeah,
I would say the boxes are flimsy compared to, they're horrible.
But
yeah, they're not as good as like the Atari Age boxes, but as Jeremiah Tynan said, he still hasn't gotten his last chance order. Yeah. It's been a year and a half now.
Yeah.
I got one game from that last chance order, but I ordered on 2 different days. The second one I never got. And I'm waiting on something that I bought for myself was Donkey Kong 3 by Brian's Man Cave. So that's, I'm not sure. I ordered that before Christmas, so I'm sure it'll be coming any day.
But to go back on what you feel about the box being flimsy and stuff, the only thing I'll say to that, because we kind of talked about this a few other episodes, like for the price point, I'm okay. Like those are $30 games, which if I would have paid $60 for those, like the XP one, like like we showed, like the Mr. Run and Jump XP one, like that's not worth it. But
if you look closely, I have Fatal Run for the 7800 that I ordered after Fatal Run XP. But I got it first, then I got Fatal Run XP 2600. The box for the Fatal Run 2600 has raised lettering and raised Atari logo on the side of the box. Worth the premium right there, right?
Fancy.
Well, but here's the kicker too. Like those latest releases, which is good, they came with manuals. Because like Mr. Run and Jump and Berserk, like when they did during the 2600 plus release, those did not have manuals. But all these
they had little cardboard sleeves for the cartridge.
Yeah, well, they still kept the cardboard sleeves, but they also added manuals with these. So
I like a manual.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with the $30 price point that they did there. So like, even though the box might not be the greatest quality, I'm a little more forgiving with that now.
For the price point, I would agree.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, what I'm not as forgiving on, and this will be probably a topic for, hey, maybe this can be our next week topic. We'll talk about the 7800.
No, next week we have Justin Cheer on.
Oh, that's right. So maybe the week after that. But I just know which you wouldn't think, but there's just a number of different issues, when it comes to the wireless controllers, when it comes to the console itself. There's already an update that apparently you got to do through Atari Age, because they don't have it on the actual update on the site, because the 2.0 version that came with it, they, like, I think December 18th made a new one on Atari Age, because games that worked with the 2600 plus all of a sudden quit working on the 7800 plus. And don't know why, but there's just different things like that where I've seen online. Like I said, I've not done full testing myself yet with the 7800 plus, but there's definitely stuff. Yeah, but there's definitely seems to be issues with the 7800 plus right now. So
okay,
that I didn't think we would get because of the 2.0, because they were, again, as we saw through the updates, it was doing good. And but yeah, there was a good video, I think Ivory Tower Collections did it, where you can press down on the D-pad of those new wireless controllers, and when you're pressing down, it's somehow also hitting like right and up, and it's kind of hard to play your game if you're hitting 3 directions at the same time.
exactly.
So,
yeah, I wasn't real happy. I never have been happy with the European controller. I bought one back in the day.
oh yeah, same here.
It is
And-
most definitely better than the North American controller.
Well,
Yeah,
that
the
bar's
cost
so
of the
low.
pain line.
It's a really low bar. But
Yeah.
if you give me one of the two, I will play with the Euro controller.
Oh, the wireless is cool. I did end up buying the 2600 version too. It's coming tomorrow. So it was an afterthought, because I figured maybe I could go ahead and do some emulation on my laptop, and use that thing.
Oh yeah.
But
Can I
I
just
did buy
address
an
one
old-
comment here really quick? When we're talking about the Atari Age Last Chance sale, that was now a year and a half ago, when just prior to Atari's purchase of Atari Age, they removed all the ports from the store. So they did a Last Chance sale for all the non-Atari related ports. So they're like, that's done now. Anything you see on Atari Age now should be there in
But
perpetuity.
you're still not going to get it, because I ordered a year
Well,
ago something not on the,
Yeah. So, but there are multiple people in this chat that are still waiting for their June/July 2023 orders, Last Chance orders. Mine took a year to get to me, and now some people are waiting a year and a half. So, my personal recommendation, although I do agree that I would never guarantee somebody else's business, but knowing what I know about Atari Age, I have no doubt they will come eventually. But it is absolutely ridiculous, and I personally cannot recommend purchasing anything from them until that backlog is all clear.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a rush for mine, because my last one I'm waiting for is Beef Drop. But at this point, I don't remember, did I buy it for the 5200 or the 7800? I have no idea anymore. I forgot.
Not only does Champ Games have some of the best homebrews on the system, they ship very quickly and quality.
And they're carrying other.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
your
Okay,
mic
I was
cut
wondering
out.
if that was my own headphones. Like, did something just cut out?
But and now they are. What Phil was saying is they're releasing Draconian Deluxe. I think comes out probably in the fall of this year. They've got Juno First. They've got other great homebrew games from other publishers. So
I'm very impressed with what Champ Games and Opcode is doing with the Atari stuff right now. I mean, Champ Games is more 2600. Opcode's been doing 7800.
Yeah.
May see some other things yet down the road.
I finally jumped on Opcode. I'm getting Popeye, even though I have Popeye, and Keystone Coppers, so I do have those ordered.
Mm-hmm.
So and then Jeremiah says he did that to Bliss for giving Night Driver only a 3.
I don't know what happened, but all you guys disappeared, and all I saw was these swirly circles, and then
You must have just had a little blip.
Yeah, must have.
All right.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Wait. Yeah, Pat, do you want to do your last one?
Yeah, in my
Oh, I'm
extra
sorry, I didn't
long
realize.
video for the 7800 plus, I showed different controller options aside from, or even using original controllers. And you can use 8-bit DOE, if you want them to record this often, as long as you have the little adapter. But I bought myself a present recently, and it's probably the worst present I ever bought. It's a 7800 controller, and there it is right there.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
You know what?
that's all I use.
Earlier this year, I did the same thing to myself.
Shameless plug.
Wait a sec. This ruins the ColecoVision experience by making it playable. I really don't like that. I hate it so much that I recently just told my friend, the person who lives up here in Canada, that this really makes it so you can play a ColecoVision, and he went and bought one. So I hope he's not too disappointed. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Pat.
In all actuality, I didn't get to try it yet. It came way earlier than it was supposed to. I think Friday it was delivered.
Yeah,
and I don't think you knew my actual name, my real name, when I
You know
ordered.
what? It's funny you showed that because I'm like, when the hell did I sell that to you?
And I got the extension cable for it. Yeah, I got it Friday. I don't
Yes.
think it was supposed to come until this week, but I
Yep.
got it Friday.
Yeah.
And I definitely plan on using this because the new Bentley Bear game with that European controller, the run and jump on it, forget about it. Those buttons are spaced. I'm trying to do the run and jump, and I'm like, now is the time.
You got to hit jump and up at the same time to go high.
And I never had the Nintendo Dogbone controller. I just had the original controller. So I'm really looking forward to trying out Bentley Bear with this controller.
Yeah, you know what though? That controller doesn't have the magic thing where you press it down and it does like all the directions.
Right.
There's something that I need to show before we get off of here, though.
Well, I also want to talk about some things that I did. That's why I said
okay.
we'll go
okay.
long.
I didn't realize how late you wanted to go.
So
All right.
if you
let's do it.
wanted to wrap up, I could just
No,
quickly talk about
we
it.
can do that because I had some fun things I did too. So
Yeah. So one thing I actually just went back to work yesterday. So I actually had a little bit of extra time off. And so I used some of that time. A lot of it was visiting with family, but going through a lot of homebrews that are more difficult for me to record and setting that up. And I recorded footage for 20 different homebrews, and I've even come up with ideas for some intros for some of them. So I was able to finally, like I said, Panzer 2. I did a lot of Champ Games stuff, some 7800, a good amount of Vectrex. I've got like 6 or 7 Vectrex games that I recorded footage for. Lots of different stuff, and that was really good. But one of my favorite Christmas presents was passing the torch of being host for YouTuber of the Month on to a gentleman named Upper Nimbus. I will not be doing those monthly videos anymore. It'll be a little bit surreal seeing them on somebody else's channel, but I'm sure he'll do a great job with it. And in his first video, I'll make a community post when he posts his first video. I may or may not have some voiceover in that video in a passing the torch fashion. And yes, Vectrex, lots of Vectrex games.
nice.
One thing that I did do is I visited with Michael Thomason over the holidays before he went down to Georgia to escape the cold. And he actually, because funds aren't the best right now, but he lent me about 10 homebrew games for me to record footage, do reviews on. And I won't be releasing those videos until his store opens back up, but I will have those kind of all ready to go too. So that was really nice that he was able to lend me some, and I have to give them back. But what I'm going to do, and so when I do give them back, is I'm going to print out little paper saying, this is the copy of the game that was reviewed on Mike's Gaming Gala, and hopefully it'll help him sell them quicker or maybe those ones will sit and gather dust because nobody wants those. But
Okay. Anybody else have some good Christmas stories of anything
You
that's
know, I
happened
had
recently?
one more thing, and I was never into Legos growing up. Really, aside from we had my dad like whatever it was, 1950s set that came in the big round cardboard tube with the tin lid. So you could build some houses, right? They had little windows and doors and stuff, and all the cool stuff came out later, but was like $9 billion. Luckily, my son was only into the little vehicles; he didn't want the big sets. This is the Lego knockoff that I saw, and I only got it because my dad used to make the best Christmas villages, his setups under the Christmas tree, and the train and everything. And we never really did that at our house, But this company, now the idea was originally shot to Lego, and Lego never did anything with it. So this company made Christmas Story House, and it lights up. We got Christmas lights and everything. And they had this on sale. So I'm going to build this thing. From what I see in the Facebook group for a Christmas Story family, it takes a little while, and it actually has little wires that you run to like a panel in order to light everything
don't
up.
Put your eye out
to the leg tree lamp.
I was going to say, I saw the leg lamp there. So
it's in there. They have the turkey on the table, the bathroom, and the little Orphan Annie decoder thing is sitting there on the clothes hamper and everything. They have all the detail. It's not official Lego, but you can put Lego characters and stuff. It'll all work together. So, yeah, I say I'm going to build it now. It'll probably sit here for next year, and then eventually we'll get to it.
Time's nothing but a magazine, man.
Build it after you do your Mario Brothers video series, and then it'll be like 2048.
That's that. And another thing that I had been thinking about for almost a year, maybe longer, was I was going to do a whole history of Donkey Kong 3. But I'm glad I waited since Brian's game's finally going to come, because I could do a little homebrew edition to it as well.
Nice.
So I will wait until you do your series, and then I'll release one for like the Vectrex.
Nice.
You do anything cool over the holidays, Brian?
No, just mainly spent time with family and played games, and and had a lot of controller orders. So
yeah, I bet you've been busy for that.
I was one of them.
Yeah, and you were one.
Yeah.
Pat was one. Dan was one.
That's still hilarious because, I didn't even.
By the way,
Yahtzee.
I'm still waiting for my referral check. I don't know when that's going to come.
Right?
Phil would be rich.
I got so frustrated in that
just
video of mine playing that Bentley Bear game and not being able to do the run and jump. I'm like, I need like a Nintendo style controller. Where are you going to go for that?
Yep.
BD Retro Mod.
I think Brian should send me like rebate coupons, or do like the green stamps when you used to go shopping way back in the day. You guys are too young for that. But anyway, I'm going to show something, and I'll tell you something at the end, and then I guess we're going to be about it. Is that about right?
I would say it's probably getting good time here.
Yeah, we're
I just got something to show real quick. Our buddy Brian Mathern sent me something, and I wanted to share. This is him at Christmas time. I don't have any pictures of me at Christmas time.
Oh, nice.
That's a Vectrex.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then there he is, I guess, getting
Oh,
ready
yeah. I was just talking about a Vectrex.
Yeah, Vectrex. Christmas 1983. I graduated from high school that year, started college. There it is again. Let's see some more. Yep. He hasn't changed a bit, has he? And then, of course, he's going to show some of his keychains from his game Mardi Gras. It looks like a real cartridge, too, by the way. It's really cool.
Nice, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah thinks I can be bought, and he is not entirely wrong. Thank you very much, Jeremiah.
You'll see a re-review next week. No.
Yes, a re-review. I'll put one in the members only as a 7 out of 10 for Jeremiah.
Oh, we got Casey's Gold, which, by the way, I got too, but I got a little too far away from Christmas, so I didn't count that. But he has 53.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mine
No,
is-
that's 63.
Oh, I can't read.
Mine's 70 something.
That might be 5. I think that's 5.
I think it's a 5.
You think
bro.
so? Oh yeah, okay, that's a 5. All right. It's extra small on my screen.
He got the VIP though. That's right. I forgot he got the VIP.
Me
So he
too.
got
Fancy
50.
pants.
Yeah.
I would really like to get these. Hopefully, at some point this year.
So
VIP.
why am I showing that? I don't
Oh,
wanna show that. That's the
You're
Bliss Day,
fancy
sorry.
too.
That-
You're
I
a
didn't mean to do that.
VIP.
All right, guys. I'll just
Here.
share what happened to me. My son got married over the summer and he eloped. He lives in Jacksonville, and so we couldn't make a ceremony because there wasn't really much of one to speak of. And so when my new daughter-in-law Alexis came here for the Christmas holiday, Rhonda and we decided that we wanted to do it right. So we invited some family and friends. We took them to Maggiano's and got a private room and did all that. And welcomed her. We wanted her to feel welcome and special, even though we could, because we would have spent that money anyway had they got married. And we had like a rehearsal dinner or whatever. As a matter of fact, we saved money by doing it the way we did it. So anyway, that was the most important Christmas thing to me
Excellent.
that happened all
Nice.
year. So I'm just happy to have Alexis as part of the family. So I appreciate
And I
everybody
will-
being here. Oh, go ahead.
I will finish off by giving you some warm and fuzzy nostalgia Christmas pictures.
Oh my
There you
gosh.
That on the right there, that is me. And then in the middle is my brother Peter. And then there is my other brother Matthew. And that is in 1985.
Peter doesn't
Nice.
look like he knows what's going on, but he looks like he's enjoying what he's looking at.
He's like 1 year old.
Yeah, I can tell, but he's looking at the screen though. He's actually watching.
Yeah,
you, so.
there's a third joystick there so that he thinks he's playing. It's something
Oh,
we've done with little children for a very long time. It's
I
And
got
we
you.
not
and
just
I
little
can't see the
children.
cartridge, but I would bet that my brother Matthew and I are playing combat.
I
Probably
did
so.
that when I was a teenager. My sister's first husband, he was a Marine. He thought he was playing Kung Fu on the Nintendo, but we gave him the other controller that wasn't attached. So this was a grown man.
Yep, I used to do that with my kids.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So that's your Christmas nostalgia warm and fuzzy picture.
All right. Listen,
Nice.
guys, appreciate all of you guys being on the panel tonight. I really had a good time tonight. We don't normally go an hour and a half, but
No,
We've been here
I
a while.
apologize.
yeah, but it's been worth it. I've enjoyed it. So let me get set up here. They've changed things around on StreamYard anyway. Appreciate you guys being here. We'll see you next time. And now who's going to be here next week? I forgot his name again.
Justin Cheer, and he's going to tell us all about making graphics for Intellivision Homebrews games. He's one of the
All right.
best out there.
All right.
Nice.
Awesome. So you guys stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Retro Bliss Rewind. Bye.